After miraculously being given a new contract despite failing to get promoted once again, we face newly relegated Mets to open the season.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
1.2 million with 15k in wages to start off. Free transfers were key. Bamba Dieng returned, as despite him being crap on loan, 6k in wages with these attributes were worth another shot. Last year's problem with Dabila threatening to leave surprisingly saw him change his mind and sign a new contract. Yet, he needed a partner with Wage losing his legs. Yohan Salmier on 9k a week was that guy. The final free transfer was Bruma making 8,000 per week. Yes, the one who played for
Champion Galatasaray.
To make our big signing, we needed to sell some players. Yoel DeMarco, who came in on a free in season 1, left for 200,000. Sami Mahur from our second team exited for just under $500,000, and due to a tactical switch, we sold our top scorer, Ismail Kone.
This seems to be irresponsibly dumb.
He was great in the Segundo Volante role, but the lack of improvement in attributes made it difficult to reject 1 million. That's especially true with Daniel Bragança coming in for 300k from Sporting. Yeah, this guy's way too good for us, but he happily signed after barely playing in the last 2 seasons. The big transfer for 800k up front would be Salah.
Yeah, of course.
To play in goal, who is definitely not Mo Salah. Okay, he's not Mo Salah. His name is Marwan Salah, who came from Catania and has history in Bayern's under-19s. The man has a bunch of potential and will eventually take over Filipovic as a starting keeper. However, the Croatian would start versus Saint Etienne, where their star wonder kid Adam Zidane was nowhere to be seen due to the Olympics. The same would be the case with both of my left backs. So Joly, coming on loan to play right back, had to switch to the other side while having to play Le Cardinal. The match didn't start off great with Dabila conceding a penalty, allowing Demirovic to take the lead. That'd be extended as Filipovic would smack the ball into the Bosnians' dome. We did well to fight back as Bamba Dieng kept getting into great positions, scoring in the 62nd and the 67th. Unfortunately, Salmier gave the ball away, allowing for Etienne to take advantage of another mistake. Thankfully, we got our justice as Bamba Dieng won a penalty late and slotted it in for his hat-trick. Due to the draw, we had to give up a player for 1.7 million. A very specific clause in the pre-match contract. So we sent over Amel. The now former disgraced Paris striker would find a club that would play him even less than us.
That ain't no problem. Huh? That ain't no problem.
We switched Paris's tactic to a 4-3-3 vertical tiki-taka style. One winger wide, the other as an inside forward on attack. Playing like this was beneficial with our strong midfield, which had these two playing wider, but in roles where they went further forward. Bragança dictated from deep, while the outside backs were fullbacks on support. They were told to hold their position and sit narrower. These were the team instructions if you're interested. The rest of the matches in August showcased the strengths of the formation. Hiralainen scored a late winner away to Clermont, and Mboop bagged a brace against Annecy. Bamba Dieng responded with a hat-trick versus Reims and a 0-0 draw. Our shooting wasn't always perfect. We had the biggest player sale of our saves so far. Freiburg grew a liking for French left-back Hadjam. So much so, their 4 million offer was immediately accepted by our board. I knew it would come. So last season's 76k transfer of Dawouda Diame would get an increase in playing time. Just to be safe though, Roque was brought in for a measly 180k to back him up. The final player to help our midfield depth was Marco Cruz on loan from Lyon, who could also play left back. He scored on his debut ASAP against Sochaux. Sadly, it ended in a draw thanks to Kalulu finding space and finishing well. The month of September would be mixed as we did defeat Caen 2-0 thanks to a gory pen and Hiralainen's first time half volley. However, finishing off the month, 11-pace Wolinski was able to get behind our backline not just once, but twice, having me question Salmier. Oh right, he got behind for a 3rd time, which saw him win a pen. Our 2 goals weren't enough as we lost to Avra, who would be relegated by the end. Then came the month of Mboop. A stunning hat-trick versus Auxerre and a stat-padding goal versus Saint Etienne would be enough for him to win the Player of the Month in October, while for the club itself, it did have a disappointing draw against Pau FC. Nevertheless, a 3rd win would come as within 11 minutes, we were up 2-0 ahead of Nancy with Diakite and Dieng finishing their chances. Wage would add a 3rd, cementing a 3-1 victory. Despite being on a 4-match undefeated run in the league, we were only in 3rd, 4 points behind Metz and 6 of Sochaux. Although, the team would motor on in November and December. Grenoble gifted us goals, although after they cut our lead in half, Joly would get his 2nd yellow in a span of 4 minutes, giving them the advantage. Don't you fret though, Bamba Dieng and Wage exposed those bozos, getting 2 more onto the score sheet. Then Bamba Dieng told Toulouse that they were going to lose. That was terrible. As he scored a first half brace. Despite Shaibi getting a lucky deflection, it wouldn't be enough as Bruma made the sport look easy, securing the victory. Chateaureau, on the other hand, got an early penalty and actually made things challenging for us. Side note, the ref must have been really confident to make that call from that far away. We didn't lose thanks to Hiralainen smashing this in, but a draw was all she wrote. In December, there were only 2 League 2 matches, and both were wins, with Gangap not doing enough to resist Bragança's brilliant free kick, and a second Bamba Dieng hat-trick, where he blasted 3 past QRM. Just over the halfway point of the season, we were in second, but only due to goal difference. However, the board was so pleased with Crudan, the original 1-year contract extended to 3 more years. We then didn't score a single goal in January as we struggled without Bruma on the left.
Oh, I missed.
Sometimes in Football Manager, good talents remain on the free agent market, even until January. When I was shown Artur, Ducouré, and Modera as possible players to bring in on a free, I had to get one of them. Artur and Ducouré's wage demands seemed too high at the time, but Modera was reasonable. And by the end of January, we were still the only side interested, and brought him in on a 3-year deal. How a League 2 side signed a more than capable League 1 player is beyond me. We'd only make one more winter signing, and despite having a couple million, we basically got a free loan, Shakur Amar from Atalanta. I saw more as a rotation option with Bruma, although there began to be some conspiracies that he was Tupac Shakur. I don't think that's how it works. There was an ultimatum: get promoted, or keep our Finn Luka Hiralainen, who dominated in his box-to-box role, finishing with 6 goals and 8 assists. Their team's interested, and he wouldn't renew unless we kept our promise. February didn't start perfectly, but at least Mboop salvaged a late draw with Rems. Although we could have won if Selly didn't miss his 93rd minute penalty. 16 pence, Then we had a massive match versus FC Sochaux. We could pass them into an automatic promotion spot, but it was a tough fought affair. We nearly took the lead early after an incredible passing move, but our dominance would see Bragança smacking home an insane strike 28 minutes in. Sochaux responded well, but our defense remained solidified in the second as the boys kept a clean sheet and regained second place. Before getting to that, last season, PSG failed to even make the quarterfinals of the French Cup thanks to future winners Monaco. Sadly, with a 3rd straight Trophée des Champions, their trophy tally was at 6, while we were still searching for our first. Surprisingly, the French Cup was looking promising. Sanois, Vitry, and rivals Red Star were dealt with in the 7th, 8th, and 9th rounds respectively. And then we came up against our first Ligue 1 opponent since Season 1, 18th place, Ajaccio. A struggling side, which would give a good litmus test against those above us. This was before Bruma's injury, which is important because he and Moussa Conte gave them an embarrassment of a lifetime, both getting braces pushing us into the round of 16. Here, we faced a slightly better side named Strasbourg. They finished 11th in Ligue 1, so a little more difficult, but it seemed like it was going in the right direction, until 60 minutes in, Joly nearly gave Crudan a heart attack, but Marwan Salah made a massive stop. At the time, he was our cup keeper, but that wouldn't remain for long. After a couple subs in the 76th minute, spaces were beginning to open up, and Selly found Bamba Dieng in the box to put us up front. No response from Strasbourg, as the quarterfinals awaited. This time, 8th place Nantes. But no matter the placement, no one was stopping Bamba Dieng. Nantes weren't in this game whatsoever, yet we couldn't extend our lead. However, in the last 10, we may have gotten complacent, as we lost possession, and quicker than you can say PSG are overrated, we conceded off the counter. The final whistle would blow, and we went to penalties. Moder scored first, and Nantes goal scorer Hector was denied by Salah. We scored the next 3, and then Mboop would slot the 5th as Paris FC advanced to the semifinals to face off with Lyon. On the other side, Guingamp were on a miraculous run of their own, but they got smacked by PSG. So we had the opportunity to have our first Paris derby with them. Getting past Lyon wouldn't be so simple. Many, if not all of their starters were better than ours, and their possession style wasn't translating in open play. Although, a near miss off a set piece had us optimistic. Lyon could say the same. Halftime was approaching, and from their free kick, a delivery sent to the back post gave them a 1-0 lead. Later, with less than 20 to go, wow, that is an insane pass. Oh my goodness. That's an insane pass. He cut out basically half my team there with that pass. It was a good goal, but we still have to grow. If you're interested, PSG won the final and Ligue 1. In our bid for promotion, we had an incredible comeback versus Caen, as despite being down 2-0, the boys fought back. Moussa Kante first, and in the 88th minute, Bamba Dieng once again scored to equalize. Not enough for a win, but second was still ours, on goal difference. Marwan Salah at this point was the starter. Filipovic had a sinker versus Rams, and he displaced him. While the Cannes match was rough, 2 clean sheets with Avra and Nancy began a winning run. Auxerre were then embarrassed 5-1, in which everything went our way. 0.95 expected goals didn't quite translate like that. Pau FC then had us worried, as they took the lead in the 63rd. Dieng would soon equalize, and with the clock ticking,
I'm coming! Nobody can stop me!
Shakur Amar would then become the starter, as the man was beginning to cook. Versus Grenoble, an incredible assist to Dieng opened the scoring. Bamba would get a second to go along with Diakite's strike to make sure Grenoble's 2 wouldn't prevent us from grabbing the 3 points. Then came Toulouse and their striker Thijs de Linga. This man was making sure Toulouse was fighting for promotion, as he scored 37 this campaign. After his teammates won a cheap penalty in the first minute, it was de Linga versus Salah. Salah! Oh my gosh! Get the song! More Salah saving the shot. Oh, and Shakur! Let's go! Oh my, oh my gosh, that goal! Dieng and Moder added, humbling the home side, 3-0. The clean sheets and thumpings continued as Châteauroux saw the same fate, 3-0. At least they weren't Guingamp, who then lost 4-0. Bamba Dieng had another multi-goal game. 24 goals was what we really needed post last season's disaster class. On the penultimate match day, we wouldn't be conceding. Shakur though would get a goal and an assist, which would not just win the game, but crowned us the league title. Metz, who had a 6-point lead on us, didn't do terribly down the stretch. But when you win 9 in a row and capped it off at 10 against that Metz side, a Ligue 2 title is only right. Fans were in tears after seeing their beloved Paris get to play in Ligue 1 for the first time since 1979. Ballers across the board, fans wanting Shakur to stay permanently, a Coach of the Year award for the once bald fraud, still bald but more respected, Ligue 1, here we come. And there's nothing that's gonna stop us from getting even better. Yeah, I can't complain, I got one too.